Open your washing machine and pull the rubber seal back with your fingers. Almost nobody does that, and what's in that fold is usually black. It's mold growing in the water the machine leaves behind after every cycle, and it transfers onto your clothes as they spin. Door seal replacements are 15 to 20% of every washer and dishwasher repair in this country. But the seal in your machine probably isn't broken, it's dirty. 11 fixes with a $1 bottle of hydrogen peroxide. Number 6 is that seal, and the chemical you use decides whether you save it. Number 1. Why your clean laundry smells like a basement. You pull a load out, and it smells worse than it did going in. That smell is biofilm, living on the inside of the drum, and every wash cycle presses your clothes against it. Pour 2 cups of 3% hydrogen peroxide straight into the empty machine. Run the hottest, longest cycle it has, nothing else in it. Then leave the door open when it finishes. That last part does more work than the peroxide, which raises a fair question because if it's that simple, why is anyone paying $50 to $100 for a technician to walk in the door and look? Because of what changed in your appliances about 15 years ago. Modern machines run cold and use a fraction of the water old ones did. Good for your bill, bad for hygiene, because detergent residue, body oils, and food particles never get hot enough to break down or rinsed hard enough to leave. What builds up is biofilm, a living bacterial layer that grips plastic, rubber, and steel and won't wipe off. That last part is why scrubbing has never worked for you. Hydrogen peroxide is water carrying one extra oxygen atom that badly wants to leave. When it touches organic matter, that oxygen tears free and oxidizes whatever it's on, and that reaction is the fizzing you hear. The fizz is lifting the film off the surface instead of killing it and leaving it stuck there. Then it collapses into water and oxygen, so nothing is left behind in a machine that touches your clothes and your dishes. Which means every item on this list is the same job in a different hiding place. 10 more hiding places, and some of them are going to bother you. Number 2, the drawer you pull out and never look under. Take the detergent drawer all the way out. There's a release catch inside the housing once it stops. Now turn it over. What's on the underside and in the back channel is a gray and pink sludge of old softener and detergent, and it has the consistency of wet paint. That's why your dispenser stops flushing properly and why dark clothes come out with residue on them. Soak it in hot water with a cup of peroxide for 20 minutes, then work the channels with an old toothbrush. Spray the empty housing inside the machine and wipe that out too. Number 3, that smell isn't coming from the drain. Everyone assumes a smelly kitchen sink is a drain problem. It's almost always the underside of the rubber splash guard, which nobody lifts, and the rim of the grinding chamber where food packs in and sits. Disposal repair runs $100 to $250, and a fair share of those calls start as a smell somebody assumed was mechanical. Kill the power at the wall or the breaker. Peel the splash guard back and wipe the underside with peroxide on a cloth, because that's where most of it lives. Then pour a cup down the chamber, 15 minutes, and flush with hot water. Number 4. The part of your fridge you have never seen. Underneath the refrigerator is a shallow pan that catches water melting off the coils during defrost. It's behind the tow grill at the bottom front or reachable from the back, and in a fridge a few years old, it holds standing water with a black film on top. Refrigerator repair runs $200 to $400, and a smell nobody can find is a common reason people make that call. Unplug the fridge. Slide the pan out, tip it away outside, and wash it with peroxide and hot water. Wipe the floor underneath while it's out. Nobody has cleaned under there either, and it's usually worse than the pan. Number 5, the microwave and not the walls. Everybody wipes the walls. The vent grill and the roller ring under the turntable are where the smell actually lives. Bowl with a cup of water and a splash of peroxide, 3 minutes until it's steaming, then leave the door shut another 5. Everything softens and wipes out with no effort. Then lift the glass plate and the roller ring underneath and wash both. That ring catches everything that ever dripped through, which is why the smell comes back the moment you heat something. Now, number 6 is the one this whole video has been walking toward, and there's a twist in it that costs people their door seal every year. Number 6, the seal from the opening. Back to the gasket you pulled open at the start. Door seal replacements are 15 to 20% of all washer and dishwasher repairs, and front-loading machines fail more often than top loaders for this exact reason. The fold in that rubber holds water after every single cycle. Hair, lint, and detergent settle into it. It stays damp between loads, and mold takes it over. Then that mold rides out onto your clothes, which is the real answer to why laundry smells musty coming out of a machine that just ran. So what do you clean it with? Almost every cleaning guide on the internet says vinegar, and vinegar does kill the mold. It's also an acid, and repeated use on rubber breaks it down, which is why many washer manufacturers specifically advise against regular vinegar on the seal. Bleach is worse. Bleach weakens rubber, cracks it, and takes the flexibility out of it, which is precisely the failure you were trying to prevent. Hydrogen peroxide kills the mold and leaves the rubber alone. That's the entire reason it belongs on this job, and the other two don't. Peel the fold back and clear out the hair, the lint, and the coins. Soak a cloth in 3% peroxide, pack it into the fold the whole way around, and walk away for 15 minutes. Then scrub with an old toothbrush and wipe it bone dry. Dry is the part that matters. A gasket you leave damp grows the whole thing back in 3 weeks. Top loader owners, this one isn't skipping you. No gasket, but the same problem in 2 other places. Look under the rim of the tub where the lid seats against it and pull the fabric softener dispenser out of the agitator if yours has one. Both hold water, and that dispenser is usually worse than anything in a front loader. Either machine, one habit beats every product on the shelf. Leave the door or the lid open between loads. A drum that dries out has nothing to grow. That's a $150 to $400 repair avoided for about 30 cents of peroxide. 5 to go, all kitchen, and number 11 is a panel on the front of your washer that almost nobody has ever opened. If you're finding this useful, hit subscribe. We put out one of these every week. Now look, we're not going to oversell this. Peroxide doesn't fix appliances. It handles biological growth, and it does nothing else. It will not touch a failed control board, a dead pump motor, a worn drive belt, a broken heating element, or a compressor. And when a technician says the repair costs more than half the price of a new machine, that's a real benchmark, not something invented on your doorstep. It's called the 50% rule. Where it turns against you is that the rule assumes something has actually failed. Applied to a machine that only needs cleaning, it turns a 30-cent job into a shopping trip. Number 7. Grit on clean dishes. Dishes coming out gritty usually means blocked jets rather than a weak pump, and the pump is the expensive assumption. Lift the lower spray arm off, which is a center nut or a quarter turn on most machines. Hold it up to a light and look through the holes. What's blocking them is food debris bound together with biofilm. Soak it in hot water and peroxide for 30 minutes, then clear every hole with a toothpick. Do the upper arm too, and the small jets under the top rack, because those feed your glasses and block first. Number 8, the cylinder at the bottom of your dishwasher. Under the lower rack, there's a cylinder that twists out. Every modern dishwasher has one, and a great many owners have never touched theirs. Dishwasher repair averages around $225, and drain pump failures are 35% of those repairs. A filter packed solid is exactly what makes a pump work hard enough to die. Twist it out, rinse it under the tap, then soak it in peroxide for 15 minutes to break the film. Wipe the well underneath while it's out, because that's where the standing water sits. Number 9, to strip of your dishwasher, the wash cycle never reaches. Open the door and look at the bottom lip, the part that's hidden when the door is shut. Then run a finger along the rubber seal around the edge. That black line is mildew and old food, and it sits outside the spray pattern entirely, which is why it survives every wash you've ever run. Spray peroxide along the lip and the seal, 10 minutes, wipe it out. Get into the hinge corners at the bottom, because that's the low point everything drains toward. Number 10, ice that tastes like the freezer. If your ice tastes like whatever is in the freezer, the cause is usually biofilm in the dispenser nozzle and the chute rather than the water supply itself. Icemaker repair runs $100 to $225. Pull the bin out, wash it with peroxide and hot water, dry it fully before it goes back. Wipe the chute and the nozzle and check the flap at the end of the chute that seals against warm kitchen air. That flap is where the black spotting shows first. Then dump the first 2 batches. Leave the water line and the filter housing alone and change the filter on schedule instead. Don't run peroxide through a line that feeds your drinking water. Number 11, the panel on the front of your washer. Low on the front of most front-loading machines, there's a small panel or a flap, and behind it is a screw cap. That's the drain pump filter. It's why a machine gets handed back to its owner after a $150 call with no parts replaced and no explanation. Towels down first and a shallow tray underneath, because water is coming out and there's more of it than you expect. Unscrew the cap slowly, let it drain, then pull the filter out. What comes out is hair, lint, coins, hairpins, and a gray slick of biofilm holding all of it together in one piece. Rinse it, soak it in peroxide for 10 minutes, screw it back in tight. Do that every 3 or 4 months and your washer stops dying halfway through a cycle with a drain error. Top loaders mostly don't have that panel. What you have instead is a lint trap, either a mesh screen inside the agitator or a plastic cage clipped to the tub wall. Same principle, same peroxide soak, ignored just as thoroughly. One safety rule, and this one isn't optional: never mix hydrogen peroxide with vinegar, not in a bottle and not by spraying one after the other into the same machine. Together they make peracetic acid, which is corrosive and irritates the eyes, lungs, and skin. If you want both, use the peroxide, rinse with plain water, and only then bring the vinegar in. Never bleach with either of them. Bleach and vinegar make chlorine gas. Bleach and peroxide is a bad idea in a sealed drum you're about to put your head into. And unplug the machine before your hands go inside it. Every time. That's the thread running through all 11. Every one of them is the same substance sitting in a different wet place. A fold that holds water, a pan that never dries, a filter sitting in a pool of it. Which means you don't have to remember 11 separate jobs. You need one rule. Anywhere inside a machine that stays damp between uses, biofilm is growing and peroxide takes it off. Walk your kitchen and your laundry room with that rule and you'll find places we never covered. The seal under a chest freezer lid, the drip tray under a coffee machine, the rubber flap on the dryer vent hood outside your house. Same problem, same fix, none of them on this list. Peroxide doesn't repair anything. It strips out the living layer that makes a working machine behave like a broken one. In exactly the folds and pans and filters, your technician charges a diagnostic fee to come and look at. He knows every one of these. He also gets paid by the visit. If you want the other half of this, we did 9 hydrogen peroxide uses. Plumbers charge $300 for, and number 4 in that one is the toilet fix nobody knows about.